So did you join Muirhead?
I joined Muirhead because my father moved his job to Falkirk.
Okay. And who was pipe major at that time in Muirhead?
For a very short space of time there was an elderly guy, a guy Wilson, and he was a good player. Hadn't too much discipline,
Aye.
you know.
Aye.
So he wanted to come down, and Jackie Smith was coming up.
And he was the man, wasn't he?
He was the man.
Aye, he was very, very good.
You know.
Now, who was the leading stroke, the leading drummer when you joined Muirhead then?
It was Jimmy Gray.
Was he a good drummer?
Jimmy Gray was a different drummer, and we had little battles because I had been in a place where Jimmy didn't help me.
Aye.
But anyway, we'd done quite well. I mean, we were only in grade 1 2 years,
Okay.
and we were second at Murrayfield with Glasgow Police just in front of us.
Now, when you say second, is that second as a band or second as a drum corps?
No, second as a band.
Second as a band. How did the drum corps fare with the prizes at that point?
Well, a wee story there again, because when the things come out about who was who and who had won what, we got a guy and there was something wrong with his sheet, and we won the drumming.
Uh-huh.
And we got we were at the bus and nobody had said anything, and then there had been something done, and they wanted that drumming thing left, and this was Mr. For the Glasgow Police. They had won the drumming
Mm-hmm.
correctly,
Aye.
and I'll tell you, that day I can mind it yet. You want to get your thing back, you know?
Uh-huh.
It was one of these things where somebody's, it was Alec McCormick, you know?
Aye.
And,
So he picked up on something
oh,
then?
he picked up, and of course he was one of the ones that any five could have won.
Aye. Now, explain to the viewers here how many drummers were in a typical drum corps at that period.
Well, 4, and if they were going to 5, with a big band, you know, like
Aye.
the
But that was
police
unusual.
band.
Aye.
Very unusual.
Aye. It was usually 3 or 4, wasn't it?
Because the saying was, you know, if you played 4, you would be 4 to 12,
Aye.
the piping,
Aye.
and the thing came
Yeah.
again as a balanced band.
Yes, that's right. And only 2 tenors
2 tenors
and a bass,
and
of
a
course.
bass.
Yeah. And typical band, the pipe corps would be about 12, 11, 12, 13, something
That's
like
right.
that. Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't get up to 15 then,
No, no.
you know.
But there are far more bands, and the pipers and drummers were spread out, and a greater number of bands, and probably very good.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing. Anyway, you were with the Muirheads quite a long time, weren't you?
Well, not the first time. I went to Muirhead's, I went in up in 50,
Mm-hmm.
and I joined the Edinburgh Police in 53, in the winter of 53. I fell out with Jimmy,
Okay.
and he left as well.
Jimmy who?
Jimmy Gray.
Okay, Jimmy Gray, right, aye.
And so I went up to George Pride and Donald Shaw Ramsey,
Okay,
who was I've known for years and years now.
aye,
He's away, but great guy.
aye. Donald Shaw was a policeman, I think he might have been a sergeant in Edinburgh City Police,
Yeah,
and he actually was shot in duty
that's right. I was
and
there.
wounded, and but he come back to normal duties after he recovered, I believe.
No, what happened was My first season was 54.
Okay.
That was the first one we were placed.
Yeah.
And we won the Worlds
Right.
at Aberdeen.
Uh-huh.
And Donald was there, and we played for nigh on 56. I'm a wee bit vague with that,
Okay.
but in there, because there were sometimes they let you play as a boy entrant so that you could play with a band, you know.
Okay.
And it happened, the young, it was a boy, he shot him, and he never ever come back.
Did he not come back? No.
No. And the man who was a young guy, very fast, Mr. Burgess.
Aye. He became pipe major after
He
that.
became pipe major after that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, although I don't think you can say this, but Donald, he was so good a player,
Uh-huh.
but he had a lot of things in his mind and things, you know, he would go and change his dress at half time and things like that. In later life, I thought he was a superb player,
Yeah.
but he was a bit boyish at the start,
Uh-huh.
and the band put him out,
Aye.
and he went into the army.
Yes. Uh-huh. Aye.
So I'm just picking, you know, this.
Aye, bits and pieces. That's interesting. Yes. Uh-huh. So were you still with the police pipe band when Burgess left?
No,
You had left before
I
that.
had left with him because I was coming up to my RAF. I
Okay,
had to
so
go in.
you had to do, I see here, 1957 RAF
That's right.
National Service.
So I finished in 56 and picked up in September 57,
Okay,
going in for 2 years.
where did you go? Let's see, is Kinloss mentioned here?
Aye, well, quite a strange thing. They had two bands in the RAF, pipe bands.
Uh-huh.
And they went out to Singapore
Right,
for 2 years,
yes.
and then